Hello everyone. In this lesson we're going to load a drawing onto a polygon and begin dividing it up. But before we do that, I want to note that we're working in Maya 2016, and as you can tell, the interface is very, very different. They've changed the icons, they've changed the way a lot of tools work, and we'll talk a little bit about those. But if you want a little bit more in-depth introduction, my suggestion is you can start with exploring Maya 2016. It's 50 minutes of exploring Maya 2016, or you can go for the 10-hour and 37-minute of Maya 2016 goodness called Introduction to Maya 2016. You can see there's been about 62,000 people who have viewed it, so or 62,000 views, which is a lot. So that is also a very good and very in-depth exploration of the 2016 interface. All right, so first thing we want to do is, if we're going to put a drawing on a polygon, we've got to know how big that drawing is. And I do it a little bit different. A lot of people use image planes, but oftentimes schematic drawings are designed this way. And this is, you can see the schematic right here in the preview, quick preview on the Mac. But the information I really need is its size. So I press Command I, and I need the size, the dimensions in pixels. And I got 2008 by 1406. And I say that exactly that way because in Maya, what I'm going to do is in the Polygons tab, I'm going to click on this polygon icon, and I'm going to go down to the inputs, and I'm going to type in 20.06 by, what's it, 14.08? Or is it the other way around? Let's see. 20.8 by 1406. Okay, it's kind of important. It's 2 millimeters, or 2 pixels, I should say, but it's a good idea to be exact. My subdivision's width and height is going to be 1 and 1, and it's important to turn your normalization off, otherwise your texture will be stretched. So I'm going to go normalization off, go here, and I'm going to go to the top view. Okay, and there's and I'm going to right click, and I'm going to go down to Assign Favorite Material, Lambert, and I'm going to call this Lambert Modeling Lambert. It's really important that you do that unless you want every single object in your scene to have this texture map on there when you first bring it in. You don't want to use Lambert 1, that's your default. So instead, create something like this. I'm going to click my Create Render Node button, and I'm going to put in a file. Now notice that sometimes when you do this, it will give you a no object matches name Lambert to color. If it does that, you can go ahead and close it, and we'll try this again. All right, see, notice it's not coming through, so I'm going to click on here again, and I notice I have nothing attached to it, so I'll try it one more time. All right, so we'll go to File, there we go, now it's attached. We'll click on the requester, and I'll go to O2 Schematic, and I'll click Open, and there's my object. Now I'll go to my Maya, and I'll press 6 to pull it up. There's my drawing. If it's stretched, you'll want to go in and make absolutely sure on your input, polyplane input, that normalization is off. Okay, so we've got this squared away. First thing I want to do is I want to bring, notice I've got these center lines in the drawing. They're pretty accurate. They're going to make lathing, they're going to make revolving a lot easier. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to press, actually to make things easier, what you can do is you can turn on X-ray. And that's the X-ray button, which is very different. Otherwise, you can do shading X-ray, and that gets activated. So I'm going to press D and V, no, not D and V, I'm just going to press D, and I'm just going to line this up, because I know that my pivot point is already in line with this polygon. Now next I'm going to press E to rotate, and I'm going to rotate the entire assembly 90 degrees so that it's facing straight down the x-axis, or the z-axis, excuse me. Then I'm going to press V, I'm going to press W and V to snap, not V, but X, to snap this to the grid, to snap it to the origin. X goes to the grid snap, and that's what we want. Those are those keyboard shortcuts. Those have always been in Maya. So I'm going to go back to the top view, and this time I'm going to turn off the grid so I can see what I'm doing, and I'm going to turn off X-ray. Now, one of the things that's really nice in 2016 is the multi-cut tool. They've made some changes to it that make it very useful. The first change is if you hold down the Control key, you'll notice that you get a line that goes across. Actually, this change was there in 2015, but it's kind of new to me. I didn't use it all that much. I always use the Insert Edge Loop tool, but that's what this mirrors. It's the Insert Edge Loop tool. So I'll click here, and then I'll do another one here. Now I've got this drawing here, but I'm really not going to need it because I've got that landing gear in my front view. So that's the way I want it. Okay, so then I'm going to go and I'm going to put another one, put another line right about, I'll do it here for now. There. And then There. Some of these I'm going to cut apart. I'm going to leave as they are, and then I'll do another one there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create one more. I'm going to hold down my control key, and I'm going to zoom in a little closer so I can get a good exact line. And I'm going to put a center. I'm going to put a line right on the center line, and that's going to give me the option of deleting polygons that I don't want. Now what's left is to split up these faces. So I'm going to grab this face and I'm going to extract it. So I'm going to go to Edit Mesh, Extract. They've changed it. They moved it into the Edit Mesh menu into Extract, and I've got the default, which is basically the Separate. And I'm going to rotate this. Click on the little rotate ring, and I'm going to rotate it like so. Okay, and that's going to give me a local rotation in Y, and I'll type 90, and I'm going to move it. Oops, missed. There. I'm going to grab that and move it over to the center line like so. Okay, and now I'm going to do the same thing for the top view. And I'm going to extract that as well. Okay, and that one I'm going to go to Object Mode, and I'm going to check my pivot point. And I'm going to press D, and I'm going to grab the little yellow box inside, and I'm going to line it up with my top view like so. And I'll get a little closer and press D and grab that and scooch it over and down so that it pretty much lines up. A good center line is really important. All right, so next thing I'm going to do is I'll go to faces, these faces here, and I'll extract. Go to Object Mode and do the same thing. Press D and align this with the pivot point on the front. Check to make sure it's properly aligned. There we go. And now I'm ready to rotate this 90 degrees in Z. And then this, from the top view, I'm just going to move this to the back of the box. Like so. I don't need these two. In fact, I don't need that, and that, so I'll just delete those. The propeller, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to click these two pieces, and I'm going to extract. I'm sorry, I'm going to go to Edit Mesh, Extract again. Go to Object Mode. Actually, I'm going to go back to Face Mode, and I'm going to extract this face as well. And I'll go back to Object Mode. I'm not going to use the local parts because I've got to do some pretty good, I've got to do a good amount of pivot point movement. So I'm going to press D and line this up. There we go. And press E and rotate it forward 90 degrees. And then move this back. Right in there should do it. Now the temptation is to leave these to leave them intersecting with the front views, with the other views, and we don't want to do that. So I'm going to take the top view and I'm going to move it down to the bottom. And because we're going to be modeling in the orthogonal anyway, I can move this over to the far side. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm not going to do that just yet. What I want to do instead is I'm going to grab these two here, these two pieces here, and I'm going to combine them. I'm going to Mesh, Combine, and then I'm going to go to the front view, and I will move this, move the pivot point, press D or insert pivot point, and line it up like so. And then go to the top view and press D and line it up like that. About right there should work. Now this I can move over and line this up with the center line of the top view. Okay, that's looking pretty good. So now we've got our pivot points all aligned, And what I'm going to do with this first, with the top view, because I want the drawings to be aligned out to the right, is I'm going to scale this to -1. Do the same thing here. And I'll go ahead and freeze transformations. And if your polygons go dark for some reason, then what you'll want to do is just reverse your normals under the Edit Mesh or the Mesh Display menu. And then I will move this over here. And in fact, you can do this later, and we'll find if it gets in the way, we can do it as we need it. So the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to group all of these. Press Command G, and I'll call it Template Group. And I will create a new layer with that group and call that layer Template Layer. And once we've done that, then we can reference it. And we're ready to begin modeling on the body, which we will do in the next lesson.